So for more insight, it's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Meir Javedanfar, Iran lecturer at Reichman University, joining us now from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much, as always. So still obviously no visible sign of the new supreme leader, but there's a written statement and a social media post in which Mojtaba Khamenei is threatening revenge for the elimination of his father and all the martyrs of these two wars, his words, also saying soon some of the free people around the world will each carry out a part of this divine mission. What is your take on this threat, ostensibly from the new supreme leader, or at least from his office?
Well, we don't really know, Benita, if this is really him. Mm-hmm. We have not even heard a voice file from him. That doesn't mean he's dead, but I think we should take it with a pinch of salt when people say it is him. I think there should be a lot of room left for doubt. This is partly an Iranian negotiation tactic. The Iranians want a better deal. This is what this is all about. This is why they're attacking ships in the Persian Gulf, despite the fact that the MOU says that it should be open, the Strait of Hormuz should be open, but they're attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And this is why they're issuing these threats. They believe that they signed the MOU too soon. They should have waited, because now, with the MOU opening up the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump is going to fill up the strategic oil reserves, he's going to stabilize the economy, and he's just going to actually strengthen his hand for the next round. And he's going to strengthen his hand in order to get to push Iran. So the Iranians are, at least those who are making the key decisions, are having buyer's remorse. They suddenly believe now, no, this was done too soon. We should pressure the Americans. We should again ratchet up pressure, because we believe that with Trump coming up with the Congress and the Senate elections in the middle of this year, and with Trump being under pressure from the Persian Gulf countries because we are attacking them, we could get a bit better deal. And one of the key conditions that they want to improve is for the U.S. to recognize Iran's complete control over the Strait of Hormuz now, Benita, not as a result of this. As a result of negotiations, as the MOU calls for, now.
Well, that certainly doesn't look like that is going to happen at all. And as you've alluded to, there's so much speculation around the internal power struggles inside Iran, the IRGC, the president, Masoud Pezeshkian, the negotiating team, who Donald Trump had described earlier as rational and moderate people, but more recently he described them as scum. Who is calling the shots right now? Who are the people involved in the discussions you are talking about when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz and other issues on the Memorandum of Understanding?
Well, let me put it this way. In the Supreme National Security Council of Iran, I think there are 13 members, and I think, or 14 members, and unless I'm mistaken, 13 of them voted for this Memorandum of Understanding. And it was approved by the supreme leader, at least officially. Unofficially, we don't know. But according to Iranian constitution, and Supreme National Security Council cannot pass anything unless it has the final say of the supreme leader. And in this case, there was a final say. So overwhelming majority of the regime backed this Memorandum of Understanding. The supreme leader approved it, but somehow, as I've been observing on an Iranian press and Iranian debates of the regime, which are in the Iranian media, suddenly they are unhappy. Suddenly they are unhappy. And one of them is actually, Benita, is President Trump making a statement on the day that he signed the MOU. On that day, he said, I am signing this. He was justifying why he signed it. And he said one of the reasons was because the United States only had 40 days left in its strategic oil reserves. Now, this is an off-the-cuff statement from the supreme leader. But in Iran, hell broke loose as soon as they heard this. And this is, I go back to my original point about this buyer's remorse. So it seems that suddenly the key decision makers, perhaps Mojtaba, perhaps Jalili, who is one of the people who apparently voted against the MOU in the first place, suddenly they have convinced everybody else that, look, this is the situation. We accepted the deal too soon, and we should change it. So I think this is the situation. There has been a gradual shift in the way they have treated the MOU. First, they all supported it, and now it seems that the key decision makers want to rearrange it and renegotiate it. And the best way they believe they can get a better deal is by attacking ships in the Middle East and by attacking Persian Gulf states.
Well, buyer's remorse comes with a whole lot of problems, as we are clearly seeing. Thank you, as always. Live from Tel Aviv, Dr. Meir Javedanfar. Appreciate you being on the rundown, as always. Thank you.
Thank you.